Hello. So today we're going to be looking at the potential for expansion within the Einstein's Brothers franchise on UK's campus. And as many of you know, a group of my colleagues and I recently sort of reviewed the company on campus and we pinpointed some of the areas it could improve in. So last Wednesday, I ventured into Einstein's, and as you can tell by the timestamp filters, I arrived at 11:53 a.m. and I waited in line for about 6 minutes to order until 11:59, which wasn't bad. But then I waited for my food for 24 minutes. That's literally an elapsed time of 30 minutes. And while I was waiting for my food, it was super claustrophobic. As you can see, the line extends almost out the door, and the other waiting customers have to stand due to the lack of seating. There's only 22 seats available in the whole store and 8 tables, which is not enough to accommodate all of their customer base when they're busy, which is very often. So this can maybe explain some of our results when we look at the overall satisfaction of students, which was only about 65%. Um, and that's very low. Upon further inspection, you can see that there's two main reasons that students were really unsatisfied, and that was the crowding and the poor customer service. I experienced both of these firsthand during my trip, and they ultimately left me unsatisfied as well. So my proposal is expansion to a new location, and I think the franchise can see this as an opportunity to improve the common areas of complaint, such as the small crowded spaces and the low efficiency and poor customer service. And also there is the potential to profit as well, um, at the center of every business venture. So the reason I think this opportunity should be seriously considered is because of the unrealistic demand the franchise sees now. And this is not uncommon for on-campus dining locations at the University of Kentucky. Locations all over campus experience this. For instance, I hate the subway in Bowman's Den. I have never experienced slower service in my life, but I recently read an article that announced that Subway as the single unit franchise of the year. Subway is just one strong example of a franchise with 2 locations on campus that is successful, but we can also look at Starbucks. It has a location in Bowman's Den and the Willie T. Library, and both of those locations experience this unrealistic demand as well. So we know that the 2 locations can work because we've seen it in Subway and we've seen it in Starbucks on UK's campus. And that brings me to my proposed area of expansion, which is 395 South Limestone. Some of you may know this area as the old Street Craves location. Unfortunately, Street Craves was recently shut down due to health code violations, and the leftover property definitely has features that could improve Einstein's biggest weaknesses. Just by looking at the image of the interior, we see potential upgrades that Einstein's can make. So like I said before, the main issues that led to student dissatisfaction were the small crowded spaces and low efficiency, poor customer service. Those are both issues that have the potential to get resolved with this new opportunistic expansion. So the property isn't for sale, but it is for rent. And if we look at the numbers, we can see the square footage would be 5 times the square footage of the current ChemPhys location. That's about 4,000 more square feet, which is a clear solution to the small spaces problem. And if we look at the picture of the bar space of the interior, we can also tell that there would be more room for employees. So potential there could be more employees working at one time, and that could help with the efficiency and customer service problem as well. And just as likely with the 2 locations, the new location has the potential to alleviate some of the traffic at the ChemPhys location. So if a student is craving Einstein's but doesn't want to wait forever for his food, or he wants to sit down and eat it, this new location would be an excellent option for him as an alternative to the Einstein's we have now. If fixing problems isn't really management's cup of tea, we can also look at expansion from a profitability angle. The new location would be very close to all of the new dorms that were just built on South Broadway. And in addition to these new consumers that they could get, they would also capture students who spend most of their time on North Campus, so law students, business students. This new location would be much more convenient for them based on where they park and where they walk to class. And lastly, an Einstein's in this location would be new but familiar, and what I mean by that is that people will still be interested in the new location, but they won't be afraid to try it because they know the company, they know the brand, they can expect some reasonable familiarity. So I would forecast that that would still see this unreasonable demand that makes on-campus dining so successful for other franchisors. So to wrap things up, I think expansion to this new location would benefit both consumers and management. Clearly, conditions on campus haven't been up to par for most of the students eating at Einstein's, and I think this opportunity for growth could really work to raise Einstein's overall approval rating. As a student who dines at Einstein's, I think I speak for all of us when I ask Einstein's to please, please consider this proposition.